From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Mike Krueger. We're going to start off with taking a look at the fires out there. Now, yesterday we talked about the potential for dry lightning strikes, and I do think that a lot of the fires we see on the map here were started by lightning strikes yesterday. I don't have any confirmed reports on that, but we take a look at Siskiyou County in particular, where we saw really most of the activity as far as thunderstorms are concerned. I mean, there were many other areas, keep in mind, but Siskiyou County really did get pounded with some very strong thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms at times, and a lot of lightning strikes. Now, there was a lot of rain associated with those thunderstorms, but as a result, unfortunately, we did see most likely some lightning-sparked fires. For example, you got the Nest fire. That started yesterday, as well as the Caroline fire. Kind of looking at where they are, they're very rural areas. Now, the Perch fire started yesterday. Don't have any confirmed reports that it was actually sparked by lightning or even the Harry fire. But again, we are seeing more fires on this map than we were looking at yesterday at this time. Also, you look off towards northeastern Humboldt County, you can see the lake fire there. Once again, very rural area, most likely sparked by lightning, as there were lightning strikes there. However, there weren't any lightning strikes in southeastern Lasson County, and I do think that this was most likely human cause at 223 acres, 25% containment per CAL FIRE, and that was as of yesterday afternoon. So again, just wanted to illustrate that round one of thunderstorms in the mountains has created most likely some new fires, and we've got round two of those thunderstorms coming in here once again this afternoon. We're on to remind you that you can go to weathernorcal.com if you want to find out the latest on any of these fires. Just click on the fire danger section from weathernorcal.com's home page. All right, let's get you to your forecast here. And what we've got here, more mountain thunderstorms here. And this will probably continue at least through Wednesday, folks, but that could linger on into that's spelled incorrectly, by the way. That should reverse the N and D, but you get the idea. This should at least be through Wednesday. Thursday, there may be some lingering activity here. Now, we're also looking at the potential for some thunderstorms here in the valley. As the main area of low pressure shifts to the east, the flow around that low pressure will eventually bring in more favorable conditions for the valley to maybe see some activity by Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. Now, continued threat for dry lightning today, tomorrow, and maybe even into your Thursday. Now, kind of switching gears, talking about temperatures, it's going to be hot. We know that. But temperatures are going to start to drop just in time for your 4th of July. And those thunderstorms moving out as well. So looks like things are going to be getting a little bit better for us for those of you that are going to be celebrating that holiday, 4th of July. Let's take a look at your Krueger's Quickcast for your Tuesday, July 1st. Here we are in July. We've made it. Let's take a look at your out-the-door forecast for this morning. Pretty mild. Temperatures close to 80 already by 8 o'clock in the morning for the valley. Still some fog along the coast. There may be some lingering showers for parts of the coast as well. But taking a look at the big picture, still that broad ridge of high pressure giving us the hot temperatures. Now, you can see these clouds right here. That's all associated with an area of low pressure that is tapping into the monsoon moisture here. The flow around that low is bringing in that monsoon moisture. That's the source of moisture for the thunderstorms. Storm Prediction Center once again overdoing it on the overall coverage of where the thunderstorms will be, but I do think it's mainly going to be in the higher elevations. Slimmer chances as you head off into places like Del Norte County, but yeah, some of the thunderstorms are a possibility, especially in central, central eastern and south central eastern Humboldt County. Can I say that correctly? Basically this area here. Now, the fire outlook is also showing the potential for dry thunderstorms, basically dry lightning strikes. That's for the areas in brown here. I think it's overdoing it once again for the valley. But let's take a look at the HRRR forecast model. I wanted to show you this one because it is painting in a more aggressive picture. for the thunderstorms today than our in-house forecast model. So let's take a look at the HRRR forecast and see what it is projecting here as we go through the afternoon today. So you can see a little bit of shower activity, maybe even for parts of the north end of the valley, maybe a sprinkle or light shower, but I'll tell you what, this is all so light that most likely it won't even reach the ground. But if you run into a stray sprinkle by the mid to late morning hours, don't be surprised. That could possibly happen here. And then, of course, that will kind of transport itself eastward into Trinity County. So by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you can see the thunderstorms popping up. Trinity County, Siskiyou County, Modoc County, and even Lassen County seeing some of those thunderstorms as well. And you can also see a little bit of activity here down into southern Humboldt County as well. Now, by 5 p.m., it gets a little bit more active. And this is what we saw yesterday. It was in the late afternoon that we really saw those thunderstorms begin to kind of pop up here. So there you can see here, all of the mountains has that potential to see that activity as you get closer to the valley. Probably not seeing those thunderstorms popping up. Now, as we go into about 8 o'clock tonight, I still think we're going to see some activity lingering out towards parts of Siskiyou County, Modoc, northern Lassen County, even northern Shasta and northern Trinity County could see some of those thunderstorms continuing into the evening hours. But by late tonight and tomorrow morning, that should all pretty much be done with. All right, so here's what it looks like for today. There you can see those temperatures are going to be about 100 degrees for most of us in the valley. 101 for Redding, 100 for Red Bluff, 99 degrees for Chico. Looks like Orville about 98 degrees and 97 for Willows. Now again, you can see the thunderstorms in the mountains, pretty hot even in the mountains. A lot of 90s in there as well. And of course for the coast, we're looking at those temperatures dropping, or looking at the temperature not dropping, but getting up into the low to mid 60s for those daytime highs. All right, let's go and take a look at that 7-day outlook once again here for, not once again, taking a look at the valley here. And there you can see that chance. On Wednesday. So again, I've included the chance for showers and possible thunderstorms for all of the valley. And then, of course, that all pretty much moves on out by Thursday. Taking a look at the coast here, temperatures mainly in the low 60s for your daytime highs. There's that isolated activity for today in the inland areas. Maybe some thunderstorms today for Trinity County. Chances will begin to diminish as we get closer to Thursday. Taking a look at the mountains in the north, Modoc County, eastern mountains, all that potential for thunderstorms today and tomorrow. Still lingering chance possibly into your Thursday, but by the 4th of July, most of that should be out of here. All right, here, that's a look at your Krueger's Quickcast. If that's all you needed, have a great day. If not, stick around for a more detailed forecast on what we can expect over the next few days with that potential for more thunderstorms. And you can watch all of this from the free 24-hour streaming channel here. It's available on Fire Stick, Roku. Just search for Weather NorCal in those app stores. Also, if you have a smart TV with YouTube on it, no matter what device you're using, you can watch the 24-hour streaming channel. Just search for Weather NorCal for that for the YouTube channel. You can also subscribe to it and watch the latest video forecast from the YouTube app as well. That's also available on weathernorcal.com and from the free Weather NorCal app. A lot of great resources for you here at Weather NorCal. Here's a look at your fire weather forecast. Let's talk about that fire potential here. Second day in a row, you got the areas in red indicating the best chance for lightning-sparked fires due to dry lightning. Lightning is going to be the bigger concern here when we're talking about fires being sparked here. Also, you can see here, this is the areas in brown here. That's the projection coming in from the National Weather Service as to where we have the best potential for those dry lightning strikes. By tomorrow, it doesn't really have that in there. We still have the red flag warning through this afternoon for all of the areas in red here. I find it interesting, even though we've seen lightning strikes and will see lightning strikes here in Lassen, Modoc County, and even eastern Plumas County, not part of the red flag warning. A little confused by that, but do note that there will be some lightning strikes here and we could see some lightning sparked fires off to the east as well. I also wanted to illustrate that the overall wind pattern is nothing to be terribly concerned about. The winds that we're seeing here, these little spots of 40, 50, even 60 miles per hour, those are generated by thunderstorms that developed this afternoon, but the overall wind pattern is not favoring gusty winds across the board. Now, it looks like as we go into the afternoon on Wednesday, the winds may pick up for parts of the valley, but again, that could potentially be due to the fact that we could see some thunderstorms possibly for Wednesday afternoon, which we'll get into here in your deeper dive here in just a bit. But there you can see by Thursday, still no big wind events. Now, it is dry, But one thing you'll notice, it's not going to be as dry as we typically have been seeing here. No single digits in the relative humidity. We're getting closer to the mid to upper teens. Now again, that's still dry. But it's going to be a little bit more moisture coming in from the desert southwest, that monsoon moisture, and that's going to make it probably feel a little bit more muggy out there. But then by Thursday, I do expect it to be a little bit drier as we lose that source of that monsoon moisture. So the area of low pressure to our south, once again, that's what I'm tracking. As this moves to the east, it's the flow around that area of low pressure that brings the best potential to transport that monsoon moisture. You see what I'm talking about here. So what we have here, first and foremost, over the desert southwest, this is normal, right? This is the time of the year we see the subtropical moisture work its way from the south and kind of park itself over the desert southwest, known as the monsoon moisture. High pressure kind of parks itself there as well. Now, as this high pressure shifts west and east, it can transport some of that monsoon moisture into our area. But what's going to really help to transport that moisture is this right here, this area of low pressure. It's tapping into that monsoon moisture, tapping into it, and then transporting it right here into Northern California. And that's the source for the thunderstorms we saw yesterday and we'll see again today and tomorrow. But you see how it's shifting to the east. So as it shifts to the east, any thunderstorms that develop will then kind of also move to the east as well. That's why if we see any thunderstorms develop west of the valley, we could see some of those work their way down into the valley here as we go into Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. Then by Thursday, I still think there may be just enough leftover moisture for places like the eastern mountains, Siskiyou County, Modoc County, to maybe see a stray shower or thunderstorm Thursday afternoon. But other than that, I do expect it to be drier after that, and then that looks like drier conditions and warming back up by the weekend and into early next week. And of course, the monsoon moisture just kind of sticking around there for our neighbors off over the desert southwest. So once again, we look at the severe weather outlook coming in from the Storm Prediction Center. Overdoing it, I don't think we're going to see it today in the valley. As we go into tomorrow, pretty much the same situation, right? But we could see some of that making its way into the valley. As I mentioned, by Thursday, it's really favoring off to the east, but I think there could be some potential for a stray shower or thunderstorm even for Siskiyou County on Thursday. So once again, I'm pulling out the HRRR forecast model here for today because I do think it is painting in a more accurate picture of what we expect here with these thunderstorms here. So let's take you right into it and get you looking at what we've got this afternoon. We showed this a little bit earlier, but by about 3, 4 o'clock, we're really starting to see those thunderstorms popping up. They're going to get most likely some of these getting severe for Trinity County, Siskiyou, Modoc, even into Lassen County as well. We saw some severe thunderstorm warnings yesterday in Siskiyou County, so it's not out of the question for us to see that again. Now, by later this evening, we're going to see things quiet down for most of the mountains. However, Siskiyou County, Modoc County, northern Lassen, even into parts of northern Trinity and Shasta County, could still see some thunderstorm activity here as we go into the evening. But by late tonight, early tomorrow morning, that's all pretty much done with. Now, as we go into Wednesday afternoon, what you'll see here, it doesn't look to be quite as widespread, but we could see some thunderstorms popping up, especially to the east. Siskiyou County, I think Trinity County could see some activity as well, but you see what's happening? So these are the thunderstorms right here that are developing here to the west of the valley, in particular in the foothills. The area of low pressure I was talking about, that upper area of low pressure, as it shifts to the east, what you'll see is these will all move to the east as well. You see how that's happening? It moves to the east. So some of those could survive and make their way into the valley in the form of a shower or maybe even a thunderstorm. And it's not out of the question for even a thunderstorm to develop in the valley here, north end of the valley. Really anywhere in the valley could see some thunderstorm activity here for your Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. Then by Wednesday night, a lot of this activity is going to start to die down. And I think we're going to really start to quiet things down after that. But as I mentioned, maybe some lingering activity for Thursday as well for Siskiyou, Modoc County, and the eastern mountains. Let's take a look at the temperatures now, because you see this. Look at this. We're more within that near normal category. Now, keep in mind, normal for this time of the year, especially in the valley, is in the upper 90s. But at least we're not going to be well into the triple digits. So we have a bit of a warming trend today and tomorrow for the valley, up to about 103 degrees for Redding by Wednesday. But see the dip in the temperatures just in time for the 4th of July. Yeah, 93 degrees. That's actually below normal. And then we're just going to hover around normal for this time of the year, at least through the middle of next week. We may see another spike in those temperatures by the end of next week, but no major heat waves yet making their way to the forecast. Fingers crossed we don't have any making her way anytime soon. Taking a look at those lake levels, we're still seeing those minor drops here, about half a foot here for Lake Shasta over the last 24 hours. Still, that historical average is well over 100%, and we're keeping that the way for the rest of the lakes in the area as well. Taking a look at your wave heights, they're looking pretty high here for today. Now, they may retreat a little bit for your Wednesday, but that being said, in the marine forecast, we do have a smoke threat advisory for today, and that may extend into your Wednesday evening as well. Northwest winds at about 15 to 20 knots, and your waves from the northwest at 8 feet at about 10 seconds. So here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast, mainly mid-90s, give or take, right? You see about 91 degrees for Ruth. There's that better chance for thunderstorms today. Still a chance on Wednesday, but by Thursday, I think your thunderstorm chances are pretty much done with, and we're cooling things off by the 4th of July. Could see some isolated showers, especially for central and southern Humboldt County this morning, even into the afternoon. The farther north you go today, I think the slimmer the chances of any activity here, but there you can see places like Orleans, Hoopa, Willow Creek. Okay, sure, you may see a stray shower, maybe even a thunderstorm here, but as you start heading out towards Del Norte County, I think your chances are going to be a lot slimmer. Chances for showers and thunderstorms for everyone in Siskiyou County as well. Looks to be favoring more of central and eastern Siskiyou County today, as opposed to where we saw a lot of that activity eventually make its way into western Siskiyou County. Now, we have the thunderstorms here today and tomorrow, but then you can see the chances do begin to diminish, but we still have that chance nonetheless on Thursday. That's also the case for Modoc County. We drop our temperatures down to the low 80s by your 4th of July, and then we're back into the 90s by Sunday into Monday. For the eastern mountains, thunderstorms today, possibly tomorrow, and then by Thursday, maybe a lingering chance for the afternoon on Thursday, drying out on Friday. Your valley neighborhood forecast to the south, temperatures in the upper 90s, maybe even around 100 degrees. I mean, we're splitting hairs. Chico, Los Molinos, if you see 100 degrees, don't be surprised. And again, we've got that chance for a shower or thunderstorm here for Chico on Wednesday. 4th of July down to 90 degrees, but warming back up as we go into the weekend. There's a look at your valley neighborhood forecast to the north. Yeah, I think we could reach 100 or just above 100 degrees for many of us in the valley today. There you can see out towards Lakehead and Whiskeytown, a high of about 96 degrees. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast for Redding, and those temperatures are going to be up to about 103 degrees by Wednesday. Also that chance for showers and thunderstorms late in the day Wednesday, by the way. It's going to be in the evening too. Thursday, we're back up to 90, back down, in fact, excuse me, we're dropping those temperatures down to 93 for your 4th of July, but the temperature is slowly creeping back up as we go into the weekend and early next week. That's your morning update. I'll be back again at noon for your latest forecast. Have a great morning.
Barr & Mudford is a top established firm here in the North State. Founded over a half-century ago, Barr & Mudford is protecting the rights of our neighbors and community. We take our commitment to our clients very seriously and provide a level of excellence unrivaled in the North State. Barr & Mudford, standing up for the rights of our neighbors and our beautiful community, serving Northern California with excellence.